2.4 is discussing intercepts. So the x-intercept is the point where the graph intercepts the x-axis. So where does the line touch on the x? And the y-intercept is the point where the graph intersects the y-axis. So where does the line touch the y? So for the x-axis, so let's look at x-intercept. So if I have a line like this, so if I'm looking for the x-intercept, where does it touch on the x? So right here. So then your answer would be the x-intercept is 5, 0. And if you notice for the x-intercept, the number is in the x place, and the 0 will always be y for the x-intercept. So for the y-intercept, it's going to be opposite. Where does the line touch the y-axis? So if I have this as my line, and they ask for the y-intercept. So where does our line touch on the y? So right here. So what is that point? 0 for x, and it touches on the 7y. So if you notice, the number is listed under the y spot, and 0 is for the x. So let's look at the first example problem. Find the x and y intercepts and graph the line. So we're given a linear equation, so we need to find the x and y intercepts. So what I typically do first for x and y intercepts, I make my table and I put a 0 for x and a 0 for y. And then I'm going to use the linear equation and plug in those zeros and solve. So use your equation, and instead of x, put a 0 for x. So 5, 0 plus 6y equals 30. 6y equals 30. Divide by 6 on both sides, and your y-intercept is 5. So where does it touch the y? At the 5. So now let's plug in a 0 for y using our equation to get the x-intercept. So 5x plus 6, 0 equals 30. 5x equals 30. Divide by both sides by 5, and your x equals 6. So that is where our x-intercept is on the 6. So now graph the 2 points. So our first point is 0, 5. So at the y, put your dot on the positive 5, and then graph the 6, 0. So that's our x-intercept. So at the 6, 0, put your point and then connect your lines. So this is your y-intercept because that is where the line touches the y. And this is our x-intercept because that's where our line touches the x. Let's do one more example problem. So find the x and y intercepts and then graph. So make your table, x and y, put your 0 for x, 0 for y, and then plug them in and solve. So use the equation. Instead of x, put your 0. 0 minus y equals 10. Bring down that negative y. So y can never be negative, so divide that negative 1 across. So y equals negative 10. Start over. Instead of x as the 0, now we're going to make the y the zeros. To find x, x minus 0 equals 10, x equals 10. Now let's graph our point. So on the y at negative 10, mark your point. That is your y-intercept. And then for the x is positive 10. So 10, 0. And that is your x-intercept. So graph your line and put your arrows for the x and y-intercept.